This is a review. So we have many different types. The first type is when you have trinomials. So trinomial is mean the three terms, right? So when you see like this, x squared minus 7x minus 18, we're going to factor out the number of 18. We're trying to find two numbers that multiply to give you 18, but subtract or add to give you 7, right? So let's do 1, 18, 2 times 9, 3 times 6. That's all the factor that 18 has. However, only 2 and 9 give you a difference of 7. So we need to add them to make a negative 7. Therefore, the negative go into the 9. So that's going to be x minus 9, x plus 2. Okay, you see right here, negative 9 times 2 give you negative 18. Negative 9 plus 2 give you negative 7. Okay? Good. So that is the answer. We have factored them out. Number 2 is the same thing. So we're going to look at the number that multiply to give you 8, but add to give you negative 9. So a has 1 times a and 2 times 4. The one that give you the 9 in the middle is 1 and a, but they're gonna give you the negative 9. So therefore, they both gonna be negative, because negative 1 times negative, plus negative 8 give you negative 9. But when you multiply negative, you got positive still. So the answer right here is a minus 1 and a minus 8. You see? Add to give negative 9, multiply to give positive 8. So that's a trinomial. The next type is called difference of square. This one is whenever you can take the square root. Like 25, you can factor them out as 5 times 5. And then since this one x squared, you can factor them as x times x. So we're going to give the x to each of the 5. So that becomes 5x times 5x. And then the 4, you can factor them out as 2 times 2. However, this one is a negative. When you multiply, you give negative 4. So one of them will have a negative. Okay? So next, we're going to have the equation. We're going to factor them out. 5x plus 2. And then the other one just 5x minus 2. This is called difference of square. And every time the factor will be the same, but one positive and one negative. Alright? We are doing the same. If you see the x squared, you can factor them out. Alright, let's see number 6. Okay, number 6 have 2x squared minus 18. So we can see right here the 2 cannot factor out at 2 exactly the same number. And then 18 is not factor into exact number either. So we're going to look if we can divide any of these number evenly by 2. Yes, 2 goes to 18 9 times evenly. So we're going to write this one is 2 times 1 times x times x. This one just 2 times 9. And you see the 2 and the 2 repeats. So we put them in the front. This is called the greatest common factor. Okay. And then whatever don't repeat, we put them back inside the parenthesis. So this one is just going to be x squared minus the sign stay the same and 9. Oh, lucky we have this one again. We can factor them out as the same factors. So x times x give you x squared. 3 times 3 give you 9. And this is negative. So we're going to have one of them is a negative. So your final answer, you're going to write the 2. And then x plus 3. And then the other one just x minus 3. Alright. Good. So that's your final answer. Next, we're going to have this. Number 4. You see right here, the x and the x repeats. So that means we can factor out the x from each. So this one is x times x. This one just x. 9. The 7 doesn't go to the 9. So that's it. We are only going to share the x from each. So you write the x in the front. And then you're going to put them back. Whatever you don't circle. So 7x plus 9. Okay, so x is called the greatest common factor. And the rest, we don't share anything. We just put them back inside the parentheses. Okay? Same thing with number 10. But this time we see the negative on the x. So what we do every time you see the negative is you going to factor out the negative first. So factor out the negative from 10, we got positive 10. Factor out the negative from negative 5x, we got positive 5x. And then we see 10 and 5, they both can divide by 5. So let's divide that by 5, divide that by 5, and put 5 in the front. Here we bring down the negative. 10 divided by 5 is 2. And then 5 divided by 5 is 1x. So your final answer is negative 5, parenthesis 2 plus x. Okay, that's it. We are looking at number 8 right now. We have negative 2a squared minus aa plus 24. So first, if you see negative, we must factor out the negative. So here, negative come out. Negative right outside just like negative 1. Okay, so we're going to take out, that means everything after the negative, they're going to be changing the sign into plus now. And then the plus become the minus. And then we look at all the terms. Now they are positive, but they're going to have the number in common, which is number 2. Okay, so each of them can divide by 2. So 2 is called factor, so we're going to keep them in the front. That's a common factor. Okay, now we're going to write out what is the remainders. So a squared plus a divided by 2 is 4. 24 divided by 2 is 12, so negative 12. Then here, inside the parentheses, every time you see x squared or anything square, we gotta factor out once more. Okay, so right here we're going to fix, rewrite the 12 as some factors. 1 times 12, 2 times 6, and 3 times 4. And then we see this is minus, so that means we subtracted the pairs to get 4. Because they're opposite sign, right? So we're going to have this. This is positive, so we have more positive, and this will be negative. So we're going to rewrite the final answer, negative 2. And we're going to put these two numbers right here. A minus 2 and A plus 6. Remember this one is plus, the bigger factor is plus. All right. So we have factor number 8. All right, next we have number 9 and number 12. They look the same, but they're not, okay? On number 12, we're gonna fix them into x right here. So we have 3x squared minus 5x plus 2. So what we do with this problem is we look first, there's nothing repeat on 5, 2, and 3. Because you cannot divide by evenly by a number. So what we do, we're going to use the method that called my father drive the red Mustang. So first we multiply. We multiply the first number 3 with the last number, which is 2. 3 times 2 give you 6. So that we're going to have x squared minus 5x plus 6. Okay. Next step, father, and then next step is drive a red Mustang. So father stands for factor. Every time we see the trinomial, we factor them out. So we're looking at the number that give you 6. That's 1 times 6, that's 2 times 3. And this is a plus, so we're going to add the number to get negative 5, which is this. So we have x minus 2, x minus 3. Okay. Then D stands for divide. Okay, earlier we multiplied by 3 right here. Right? So now we're going to divide by 3 just like we multiply right there. So each of the factor we're going to divide by 3. Okay. Next we have R stands for reduce. Reduce the fraction. So this one 2 over 3 cannot be reduced or simplified anymore. So we keep them the same. And then over here we have 3 over 3. 3 over 3 can be reduced into 1. Right? 3 divided by 3 is 1. So we're going to have x minus 1. And last step, we have move. By this, I mean whatever at the bottom, whatever at the denominator, you move them up here in front of the x. So that would be 3x minus 2. So in this one, we don't have anything to move. We just keep them the same. Just rewrite them exactly like that. And that is how it's done. With my father drive the red Mustang. That's the case where you have the number in front is bigger than 1. And there's nothing that divided all of them evenly. Number or variables. Nothing at all. Then we use this method to factor.